Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Education. We are back again with another episode. The theme of today's podcast is the burnout equation, how psychology and data can humanize the workplace. And we have the right guest with us. Her name is Muskan Purkar. She has done her bachelor's in psychology and her master's in analytics. So she truly understands the blend between the two. She's somebody who has deep insights in related to analytics, AI powered workforce intelligence, as well as the psychology angle to it, that is people analytics. So she's not only looking at the numbers, but also looking at the people behind it. This podcast gives great insights how data can humanize the workplace and how understanding numbers and implementing the surveys or the feedbacks or the insights that you get from the numbers to make the workplace more employee friendly. So let's get started. So, hello, Muskan. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation of psychological insights and your analytical skills. And super excited to be asking you those questions and gain amazing insights. And I think let's get started.
Thank you so much, Tanisha, first of all, to giving me the opportunity so I can bring this to the table how psychology is so important to merge with analytics and how we can just transform the workplaces for our, employees and they can just balance their work life as well as their personal life as well.
So true, so true. And I cannot wait to ask you my first question. So I think I'll just dive in with it. So, Muskan, what do you think is burnout from a psychology lens?
So burnout is not just tiredness. People think burnout is like just I'm just tired. I need a break from
Yeah,
work. I just need a small vacation and I'll be back with that motivation. But it
true.
usually doesn't happen, right? Burnout is more like psychological as well as physical. When
As
you
well.
have been working a lot with all of your motivation, giving your all efforts out for the workplace or the or anything you're working on, either it can be for uh, yourself as well, right? Many people are
True.
self-employed now. So when you work a lot and when you look for a lot of accomplishments and when you and the consistency grows but the accomplishment doesn't, and
True.
also at workplace I can say there's a less of recognition from
Yeah.
leaders, right? At that point of time when you keep working constantly and you feel like mentally tired and even physically exhausted and you don't feel even motivated to go to your workplace. For example, as soon as you are working, as soon as you enter the workplace and you're like, I just want to go home now. I
Yeah.
just started, but you just want to go home, right? But
Because you're burned out, right? Like,
you're burned out
yeah.
and you don't even have the mental capacity to think or be more creative or give your 100% out, although you carry the all potential. So
Yeah.
believe burnout is more not related to stress, it's related to motivation.
Okay.
And motivation just can be created by the environment you are working in. That's really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And personally as well, like we feel that, okay, I'm just feeling this today, but we don't actually realize that it's a culmination of so many small incidences that keep happening, throughout.
Yes.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
actually creates the burnout. And when you are seeing your body respond physically to it, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's when it's like the situation is getting a little worse and you need to do something about it, because if your body is physically also responding and trying to tell you that hello, something's wrong, like,
Something's wrong, yeah.
do something about it. So that's when you need to listen, and you cannot just, I feel, just keep covering up, because one day it might explode into something that wouldn't be like the best thing for you to handle, right? Like, it's like, and as you said correctly, like burnout is totally dependent on a lot of external environments, right? Like, it can
Mm-hmm.
be motivation, it can be recognition, it can be as simple as you can be just burned out. You might be working in a very good workplace, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe the commute time, it's maybe the
Yeah.
number of days that you're having to go that
Yeah.
created the burnout. But how
Mm-hmm.
would you know that till the time you don't sit with yourself.
Right. So, in burnout, before getting like completely burnout and before your body gives out signals physically, you always start feeling something mentally, but we tend to ignore them. We
Yeah.
tend to ignore those signals because some exhaustion, some feeling of tiredness, or some feeling of creative block, or I can't do it. I just can't do it because I just need some rest. That's what excuses we give to ourselves, and we're like, okay, let me calm myself down. And there are a lot of external factors also related to the same thing which we talked about. Whereas burnout is a quite a long term thing as compared to stress. Stress is very short term. For
Yeah.
example, you just got an issue and you're like, oh, I'm stressed. You
Yeah.
cannot focus on it. But
Yeah.
after a few minutes of, understanding and calming yourself, you complete that task and your stress is gone for the
Yeah.
meantime. Whereas burnout, it's quite long term because you have been going through many instances, and after that it's going to affect you entirely at the very end. So that's how burnout affects you.
Great to understand that how we mix up the both terms, like
Yeah.
stress and burnout, how we mix them up, while there's a very fine line to
Mm-hmm.
be understanding and addressing it. So
True.
thank you so much. I'll just move on to our next question. Like, I think let's make it a little more, I would say, industry driven. I'm super
Okay.
excited to be asking you that question. Like, now we know what burnout is, right? Like, we
Mm-hmm.
discussed what burnout is. Now, let me ask you, like, how we can use data to predict burnout. Like, how does it affect the hiring trends and early signals? Like, can data actually predict that? Firstly,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
okay.
Yes. Because every industry or every company has many number of employees, right? And
Hmm.
every company keeps a track of their own employees, when they started, when they ended, when they sign in, when they sign out,
Yeah.
right? Everything. And even in terms of vacation, are they taking vacation or not, are they taking sick leaves or not. So an HR is responsible to keep a track of all those things, correct? So basically it's all data we are gathering of a per certain employee.
Yeah, yeah. No, 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 that's so true. Like,
Mhm.
just sharing, like, data is truly the king when it comes to, like, in the current world, right?
Absolutely.
There are so many ways you can utilize data. Okay, you get the data, but it's also about how you make it into, like, actionable. I was doing exit interviews. I think exit
Okay.
interviews are also a great point of data for the leadership to understand, like, why are people actually leaving the company. If there is a
True.
very high attrition rate, like, why are they leaving so quickly? Or if there are people who have been in the company, say, for like 10 years, and you see suddenly all of them leaving, you start questioning, is there a
Mm.
change in the leadership? Is
Yeah.
there some policy that you changed? Like, and you should, like, people, I feel like people truly matter in the success of anything, right? Because ultimately you are working with the people, and you're working for the people, because your end
True.
users will be people, right?
People,
Like,
right.
so it's so important for companies to focus on using their data to cater to the
And
psychological needs of people who are
yes.
working for them, right?
True.
So
And using data and understanding human behavior at the same time, if HR, human resources, as well as if leaders are trained to understand human behaviors pretty well, they can truly excel the potential of their own employees.
true.
They can absolutely do that. And
So
early prediction will always make a difference. uh,
yeah.
Early prediction, if you see, there's a lot of softwares, right? So as I told you about signing in, signing out,
Yeah.
learning about
Yeah.
sick leaves. Also there is connectivity platforms
Yeah.
like Slack.
Yeah.
If you see a lot of people online after the working hours and they're working late, this is one of the source of data as well.
Yeah. Insightful. Yeah. So I'll just quickly move on to our next question. And I
Hmm.
think you would be an expert to answer this. So,
Okay.
why traditional HR models need a people first upgrade or approach?
Okay, that's a great question. I'll tell you. So nowadays, HR have upgraded really well. Since
Mhm.
past 5 years, there's a really been upgrade in terms of people. There have been people analytics introduced into the industries, right? Understanding people, create workforce environment,
Yeah,
ergonomics. Introducing ergonomics is the environment suitable for employees? Were they
yeah,
will they be motivated? There'll always
yeah,
be a pantry. There's always been a stress relieving station, or
yeah,
a calming room so that you can just, or a little pod so that you can give yourself some time, right?
yeah.
So now these kind of things have been introduced in since the past 5 to 10 years, and which have really made changes in the whole workforce environment.
Yeah.
And everything ends up working for the company, right? When you're working in an environment with amazing leaders who understand, who are empathetic. And talking about HR, usually HR was just about compliance, payrolls, annual reviews. Now
Yeah,
annual reviews have cut short down to quarterly reviews, right? It
yeah,
also make a difference. Now, if I
yeah.
see modern HR behavior has changed, and if I cannot say all the companies or all the industries are into psychology plus analytics for people. They do have HR analytics, but not psychology integrated
Hmm.
analytics. They have not integrated human behavior and
Which is
understanding
so
human
important.
behavior. Yes, they have not integrated at a very core level, because
Yeah.
that's the core importance of understanding employees, right? So, Microsoft and Google, these
Yeah.
two companies take people approach perspective really.
Yeah.
They give a lot of importance to that.
Coming back to just summarizing our question, that a lot of companies have been making advancement and applying a people first approach, using
Mm-hmm.
the psychological angle and the people analytics and integrating them as a part of their human resources or their leadership. So
Mm-hmm.
it's great to see that, but it's also like how the small companies and companies that have not been using that approach and using the traditional approach, how do
Yeah.
they actually benchmark companies that have been doing it or small businesses that have been doing it at that scale and applying it for better retention period, your employees to be happy and to see your own growth. So I'll just jump to our final question, Muskan, that are there any, I think we spoke a lot about burnout, we spoke a lot about different angles from both a professional perspective and an industry perspective. Now, like, are there any tips for both professionals and for industry leaders?
You as according to the current trends, um, industries are focusing a lot on big five personality traits. I would really like to mention about that, because when I was studying industrial psychology, I did and research about big five personality trait, or and its effects on citizenship behavior. And if leaders are trained to understand these personality, it will definitely make them uh, eh, quite flexible to understand and align the responsibilities accordingly. So, and this will definitely impact in reducing stress and
Mhm.
increasing more motivation, because I know, oh yes, definitely I can do this job, and I get motivated as well, like, okay, I did
Yeah,
it successfully, and you get
yeah.
positive feedback. And talking about actionable tips for leaders as well as employees, first of all, setting up boundaries. We should
Hmm.
set work life boundaries, like no messages or calls after 8 p.m. unless it is really important. Tracking your own personal energy. Are you um you are feeling motivated, but are you completely available to do a certain task? Or how, what is your uh peak hours of, I can say, high
Productivity.
focus? productivity
Okay.
and high focus. Sometimes for
Yeah.
people, it's like in the morning, I wake up, I have a
Yeah.
coffee, and I'm like good to go.
Yeah.
For some
Yeah.
people, it's like, oh, the
Mm.
mornings are not great for me, but I can work in the
Yeah.
mid hour, or by the evening, they'll be like
Yeah.
the most productive people that you will ever
Yeah.
find. So that is like a track your own, and again, it comes around self awareness,
Yeah.
right? Everything comes around self awareness. And lastly, I like to include. I've mentioned earlier, micro breaks, a little bit of more of physical exercise, um, uh, um, a little bit of focus on um, I can say meditation or motivation, a little bit mindfulness, understanding these basic behaviors,
Yeah.
and little short trainings rather than long trainings will help a
Yeah.
lot for a long term and sustainable working environment rather than just short term. And this will help reduce the workload and the stress, because when you're reaching the highest potential of your own employees and the
Yeah.
employees are valued, they will give you the best output. They will give you
True.
the best output. And when the leaders also get the best output, the leaders are also motivated. Oh, let's grow this team, let's build more skill set, let's do, let's accomplish even more. And you end up having a very positive environment.
Yeah. True. True.
So
And
it's like more like a positive reinforcement for everybody. It's like when the dopamine hits, you just start keeping yourself
yeah.
motivated. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for this insightful conversation. And it's so great to meet people with such unique combination, that psychology and who studied analytics. And I'm sure like people like you are going to make a great impact in the industry and are going to benefit employees a lot and companies as well, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's about utilizing your healthcare knowledge and your business and analytics knowledge and leveraging that to empower leadership, empower people all around you. And
Mhm.
it was super insightful to learn so many new things from you, like the big five personalities and some great tips that you mentioned. And I'm sure there were a lot of things that we discussed. So thank you so much, Muskan, for
Bye-bye.
this insightful conversation.